only built so many sets this year, but I still feel I have experience enough to make a proper list for you all, ranking some of my favorites. So, please enjoy this compilation of my top 10 sets I built in 2023 that might not have released in 2023. Number 10. The LEGO Ninjago Jungle Dragon. In a theme like Ninjago, full of fearsome dragons, this peculiar fella is a breath of fresh air. Deliberately meant to evoke the feeling of a unique and tropical beast, it's depicted with feather-like wings and limbs that appear better for climbing. A puppy-like appearance accentuates the character being portrayed here, bolstered by an included bone to play fetch with. What makes the Jungle Dragon stand out the most is a very uniquely shaped body build, taking advantage of a non-standard angle and plenty of sideways building to fill them out. This build is why this good boy gets a spot on this list, while the personality-defining features seal the deal. It does include some minifigs and side builds, but they're just so incredibly outshined by this dragon, and honestly, something more could have been done about that. It would make this set rank even higher. Number 9. The Monkey Kid Demon Bull King. If there's one thing Monkey Kid knows how to do best, it's villain characters, and the Demon Bull King is no exception. Depicted as a large humanoid bull with cybernetic gear grafted into him, this monstrosity serves as the first literal big bad of the LEGO theme, and does so shamelessly. From large fires spewing smokestacks, and even a light brick keeping the furnace at his core lit aflame, the presence it demands is shelf-dominating. The Demon Bull King needing to have joints to move is a must, and although it doesn't do much outside of the usual movement you'd find in large LEGO figures like this, he does have elbows, which are not as common as one would think. It's hard to rank large character or robot builds very high, as they often don't do much aside from having joints. And while the set does have a great build, it's not something that wowed me, but dang does it look cool. Number 8. The LEGO Ninjago J's Titan Mech. Being some visual eye candy from the get-go, this installment in the line of Titan Mechs is unlike any other, just for being lanky compared to its counterparts. This is a rare instance where a LEGO mech is strong enough to still manage elbow and knee joints outside of the usual movement options available. Unfortunately, almost every joint on this thing has something to compromise its movement options, but still manages an insane range of movement regardless, and shockingly, balance. Even when wielding a blade as massive as the one this carries, poses are still fluid looking in a way too few LEGO mechs can manage. The smaller blades do just the same, although not nearly as impressive, yet Sheathed managed to bring together a Ronin-like appearance that's also intentionally inspired by the EVA units of Neon Genesis Evangelion. This unique shape and delivering on more joints than most mechs usually get, and using them to their fullest ranks this set where it's at, keeping in mind most character or robot builds don't do much outside of having joints and just looking cool. Number 7. The LEGO Star Wars Imperial Armored Marauder. Obviously, this is an armored vehicle with how dense this set is. So much so that its size can be rather deceptive if not handled in person. Every inch has something to offer with nothing about it wasted. It has a spacious interior and plenty of necessary functions. You can find doors here and 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 here, allowing lookout access, seating, ammo storage, and even mounted blaster access, of which it has multiple that can rotate out. While some of the execution, like this clear piece here meant to pretend like this is an open area, isn't a preference, the fact there is so much space in this thing while looking as dense and chunky as it does is so impressive. A very involved build is also welcome, but so would have been just another trooper or two. It's a troop carrier, so might as well load it up, right? Number 6. The LEGO Ninjago J's Cyber Dragon. This dragon is not just a machine, but also a video game boss, and that alone, at least in my opinion, gives it a leg up over most Ninjago dragons. It being a machine means plenty more smooth shapes, yet doesn't let go of what it's trying to be. So it has digital wings, but it's a machine, so they're attached to massive engines. How they go about these details is impressive, as part choice is key. A weapon pack introduced at the time adds all these neon blades, but not in a way that's messy or distracting. Technic motor cord clips for toes and a Star Wars astromech droid leg are just two of several out of the ordinary part choices beyond that. This is ignoring how it has an integrated missile launcher, with ammo that extends beyond the joint at the center of this beast, yet allows it to move without compromise in what might be one of my favorite discrete functions out of the sets I built this year. So discreet, you might not realize this is a button, like myself, and lost multiple missiles. Not everything can be perfect, but at least there's enough room for 2 minifigs on its back. Number 5. The LEGO Icons Blacktron Cruiser. LEGO had already reintroduced a fancier iteration of classic space with the Galaxy Explorer, a set which ranked on last year's top 10. But this set here basically brings the rest of classic space that the Galaxy Explorer was missing. The Blacktron Cruiser is just as extravagant, although being nearly a third the size. Some compromise was made in this retranslation of the vehicle, just due to some retired ideas from LEGO's early years for quality control's sake. That doesn't stop it from doing one of the best things so many classic space sets had: modularity. Back then, sets had interchangeable elements done in a specific way that this set fully encapsulates, something I hope any potential future Blacktron sets would have as well. Glaringly obvious stickers and some gaps keep this set from truly being perfect, but it's still excellent, and proves that even smaller sets like this can appeal to older audiences. Number 4. The LEGO Super Mario Piranha Plant is yet another fantastic addition to the undefeated lineup of 18+ sets in the Super Mario theme. Although part color limitations are glaring with the joints, there's some remarkably terrible color matching on these parts for the pipe here. Despite this, the build is desktop-friend material, with enough posing options to satisfy and endear. The head is a bit too heavy for some poses, but the jaws open, revealing this glorious Technic apparatus holding it together, which closes out an otherwise simple yet intriguing build. It also works like a piggy bank, including 2 Mario coins you can deposit and release as you want. So while this wonderful fella has some shortcomings, it's completely smitten me with its personality. Number 3. The LEGO Disney Mini Steamboat Willie. Off the bat, clearly this is not accurate to the source material, but for the sake of a scaled down model, and a gift with purchase no less, this is perhaps one of the most complete sets in its category I have ever seen. Now sure, it's a nice little trinket. The fact that it's a complete boat, no matter the angle you look at, makes it all the better. But give it a push, and that's where the true magic starts. The steamboat's paddles and smokestacks are connected to a system that moves them as the boat rolls. This is all done through a genius Technic mechanism, reminiscent of the original LEGO Steamboat Willie set, where the entire interior workings are not just colorful, but also color-coded to make sure it's done right the first time. For a set this size, few have offered such a sophisticated yet rewarding build experience with a finished model this complete. Finding a set like this one is rare. Number 2. The LEGO Speed Champions McLaren Solus GT and McLaren F1 LM. Oh yes, another year, another car 2-pack. They deliver so much build goodness, but this is something else entirely. The LM is the standard sports car here, and like last year's, is a full encapsulation of all Speed Champions cars before it, with the exception of a bewilderingly well thought out build to make it so this iconic single front and center seat is captured here. Would you have guessed this was hiding in here? Oh, but the Solus. Oh boy, the Solus. It is a 9-stud wide vehicle. This means the entire vehicle is a cornucopia of all of LEGO's brick types to force the brick system to conform to an odd-numbered shaping to make an extremely stunning race car I feel we may never see beat, ever. It's also inspired by a video game, so that's cool too. LEGO as art personified. It's hard to even put it into words. Before we get to number 1, let's take a look at some honorable mentions. Lloyd's Golden Ultra Dragon is the culmination of years of figuring out how to make giant dragons, and this beast does so in grandiose style, with some movement limitations and a poor wing function that keeps it out of the top contenders. Mr. Oz's space bus took some time for me to realize its excellence. It's a spaceship with bust motifs, which is a fun curiosity, yet with plenty of function and flair. It has only 2 minifigs though, which for a set priced at $110 USD is downright abysmal. The set carried it this far though. Kai's Ninja Race Car Evo is here for the sake of it fulfilling an internal desire within me to find a modern equivalent to the types of race cars you'd find in the LEGO Racers PC CD-ROM game from the turn of the millennium. And while it doesn't offer much outside of a fearlessly complete car, this also satisfies that desire to an utmost T, and I feel it deserves recognition for that, though certainly not a contender compared to those that actually made it to the top 10. Number 1. The LEGO Disney Up House. Years have passed since my first dreaming of having a LEGO set of Carl and Ellie's iconic and colorful house. For years, and even up to this day, Up is my favorite Disney movie, in general, Pixar made or otherwise. A comfort animation, and to have its most iconic aspect immortalized in LEGO form finally, after all this time, feels miraculous. Look at these minifigs. They made a unique mold for Doug. We are short Kevin here, but I digress. Make no mistake, the house delivers an extravagant build capturing its iconic shapes and colors, while also not compromising the opportunity to be a playset. Such a perfect blend of it all paired with the necessities included, and you not only have the number 1 set I built this year, but it's a contender for one of my absolute favorite LEGO sets ever. It's been a very interesting year, especially on the build side of things for me. Lots of unique builds, yet plaguing myself by building tons and tons of dragons over the months. Some shined, and the help of plenty of other sets guided my way to these final decisions for this top 10. What do you feel about some of my choices? Do you feel some on this list should be ranked higher? After liking and subscribing, let me know down in the comments. You'll find the thanks button below if you want to support the channel, and handy links in the description to do the same. I'm Pen, and I'll see you next time.